Hi, and welcome to A Drummer's Guide to, the podcast all about the things it takes to be a professional musician aside from actually playing your instrument. My name is Emily Dolan Davis. I have been drumming since 1999. I've been professional since 2008 and helping others to reach their professional goals since 2018, and that is why we are here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today let's start out with a lovely Patreon shout out. So this Patreon I have known for a very long time. I'm gonna shout them out in the way that they have put themselves on my Patreon, only because they have put their artist name. So this is King Commoner. Hey King Commoner. I have had the privilege of working with King Commoner and recording on some of their music over the past, I don't even know how many years. I feel like literally the very beginning of my remote recording business, which was when was that? 2016? Yeah, I think it's 2016. Oh my goodness, wow. Time goes, doesn't it? But yeah, ever since pretty much the very beginning, King Commoner was one of my very first clients. So hey to you, not just as a thank you for supporting the podcast, because thank you for that, but also it's been an absolute joy getting to work with you over the years and kind of grow with you a little bit with your music and what you're doing, and always a joy chatting to you, and yeah, wonderful. So I feel very, very, very blessed, very privileged. So thank you to King Commoner, not just for the support on the Patreon, but also just for existing in life, generally speaking. So thank you to you. But anyway, if you're someone that is listening and wants to show your support in some way for this podcast, you can over on Patreon if you go to patreon.com/EmilyDrums. But on with the episode. Today I feel like this is going to be a bit of a deep dive. That's my feeling on this. We'll see how we go. But this episode has been inspired by basically a collective of many different students that I have been working with recently, I'm currently working with, and just tackling the subject of social media and how to tackle social media, essentially. Because let's face it, I think we've all come to the realization that A, it ain't going nowhere, but B, it's actually really important, and C, my personal opinion is that it is such a powerful way to leverage your career and to create the career that you want. I wish I had known more about how to do social media earlier on in my career. I wish it had existed in the earliest part of my career. That would have been fantastic. Although, it is what it is. The journey that I've had, I wouldn't change it. So here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just literally go through all of the different elements of I'm going to focus on Instagram. This stuff will translate over to TikTok in particular, if TikTok is your vibe. Facebook a little bit, it will still sort of transfer over in some ways, but for me, because Instagram is the platform that I choose, is where my guys hang out. That's where my people are. My people that I work with, that I enjoy working with, they live on Instagram. And I think even that, just being very purposeful about where are your people, where is your audience that you're trying to reach right now. And by audience, I don't mean fans necessarily. Obviously, if you're an artist, yes, fans. But if you're someone that is looking to offer a service, like being a drummer, for instance, I personally know that the people that are going to be employing me, unlikely to be on TikTok, maybe, but they're not going to be on TikTok looking for a drummer. They are more likely to be on Instagram. Are they more likely to be on Facebook? No. Facebook is a strange place. Are they going to be on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it? Absolutely not. That's a shouty place. I don't like shouty places. I like places that listen. I like ears. She says, literally talking a monologue at you. Anyway, the ironies. So I'm going to be focusing mainly on Instagram just because that is where my most experience comes from, for sure. I do have experience on the other platforms, but I know how to leverage Instagram. I just do. So I want to run through all the different elements, like I say, of Instagram and just how to leverage them, because there is I'm going to say a chance. I think there's quite a high chance that although you might be nailing it in some areas of your Instagram, there might be other areas that are kind of lacking that you're not even aware of, that are actually letting you down and kind of creating a like a barrier to people getting in touch or even looking at your profile. And then there's the actual maximizing of your profile. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to just, like I said, I think it's going to be a deep dive. I feel like this might be a long one. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Hold on. Okay, and let's go. So let's start at the beginning. So first and foremost, I'm always going to talk in terms of, like, imagine someone's coming to your profile for the first time. Imagine that someone that is looking for a drummer, a guitarist, a keys player, whatever, is coming to your profile for the first time. It's very, very, very important to me that the first impression that you make is the best one that you can make. And there are some very simple things to look at and to make sure that are in place, to make sure that or gives you the best chance of, and it's not about like coming across as the perfect person. What it is actually about is just coming across as you. You will not be right for every job. You shouldn't be. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. I'm not right for many jobs. And some people will look at my profile and go, absolutely not, don't want her. But people that are in line with who I am, what I represent, you know, how I play, you know, all these things. Isn't it funny that the playing part was the third thing that I said? Because personality is such a huge thing when it comes to getting gigs. It really is. So showing yourself in a light that reflects who you are in the best way that you want to. Best isn't the right word. Just the way that you want to, I think is really important. Let's start with your name. I know that this is so ridiculous probably, but again, this is all coming off the back of things that I've seen with students, previous students, you know, people that get in touch, and there's some basic things. So the first thing is your name, and it's not just, I think, your username. I think that does play a role. If you can have your actual name in your username, that's good. If you can have your instrument in your username, that is good, because it just makes it doubly easy to find you. For instance, if someone has forgotten my name, but they remember that I'm a drummer, if they put in drum into the people that are following them or that they're following, hopefully I'll come up in there sometimes. Like, there's a way that they can find me. If they remember my name but not my instrument for some reason, then put in Emily, there I am, Emily drums. That was a very loud bell. I don't know if you heard that. Wow, that's a new sound to me. Okay, so anyway, yes, the name, username. If you can get something that relays your name or your instrument or something that you do, very, very, very useful. It's not essential, but why not make it as easy as possible? What I will say is just don't have some mad username that no one is ever going to remember, like all these numbers and random words and blah, 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 blah. We're not trying to be clever here. It's not about that. If you want to be clever, have a personal one that you get to be all like whatever, that's fine. But if you're looking to have a professional one, a professional profile in any aspect, you gotta have something that makes sense, like a username that makes sense. And this brings me on to the next thing, your name. Put your name as your name, not your username as your actual name, because honestly, it fills me with dread whenever I go onto profiles and they just don't have their actual name as their name, in their name bit above the bio, because I can't address you, and I hate having to reach out and go, hey there, hey, how you doing? I like to use people's names. I find it is a sign of respect, and like it just helps connect with people. It makes it harder to connect if there is no name there. So I'd say put your actual name in your name. And also something else that you can do is maximize the name side of things, because again, let's say someone's searching for you. Let's say they search for Emily, right? If your name isn't your name and your username does not contain your name, you ain't coming up on that search. It's so basic, but it's important. It's really important. But the other thing that I do, which if you go to my Instagram, which is at Hey Emily Drums, then you will see that I have also added my profession in my name, part of it, because that way, if someone searched for session musician or coach or career or something along those lines, I'm going to come up as that. Previously, it would have been touring and recording drummer, touring and recording session drummer, I think is what I had. So if someone typed in session drummer into the search bar, I will come up at some point. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm at the top of that list. In fact, definitely, well, not now because it's not even on there, but I'm there. And again, if someone is searching through their followers or people that they're following, more importantly, and they look for either drummer or session drummer, I will be in those results somewhere, hopefully high up. We would hope. So certainly utilize that. Like, you can absolutely utilize it. Use keywords that people would be searching for. Again, think about your ideal follower in mind. And again, not a fan, someone that is going to hire you. Think about what they would be searching for. So that is how I would maximize my name. Geez, we're only on name and we're like 10 minutes in. So bio, this is another thing. So often I find people try to be very clever and whimsical with their bios. Sometimes it works, but often, like 99% of the time, I go onto people's, like, this is what I like to do, especially on discovery calls with people. I will go in as a fresh set of eyes on their social media. And the amount of times that I'm just like, I am confused. I just don't know what you're telling me. I don't understand what this is. Like, it makes me feel dumb, but also I'm like, you're clearly not serious about what you're doing, because and I get it. I 100% get it. Everyone just goes, what the hell am I going to write in my bio? I don't know. I'll just put something. So I get the reasoning, like, absolutely. It's just like, what do I put in the bio? For me, again, very simple. Just think about, this is someone that has never met me. They don't know me. Just think of it like that. This is not a profile for my friends who know who I am. So very simply, just put your instrument. Put if you are or want to be a touring or recording session musician, put that in there. Touring and recording session keys player, session bassist, whatever. Put your location. This is so important, because I might be looking at your profile and go, yeah, they're great, but where in the world are they? Like, where are they? Are they in the UK? Are they in the States? Are they in France? Where are they? So I think putting your location is very good. Also, let's say you live slightly outside of a major city, put the major city. Like, as long as you're able to travel and like driving is a huge thing, by the way. I feel like I need to do a whole episode just on driving, because especially for drummers, it's been a common theme for quite a few musicians I've been working with recently that don't drive, and the limitations that puts on people. Obviously, it costs money to learn to drive, but it's such a great investment in your time, and you will return that investment for sure. Anyway, I digress. So I think putting your location is very good. And then just literally put DM me to find out more. I know people like to put links and stuff, link trees, all of this, but you want to make it as simple as possible and as easy as possible for people to get in touch. So as minimal clicks as possible. If you put DM me to find out more, you're going to be starting a conversation, which is great. This is what we need. This is what social media is for. It's literally to start conversations and start up relationships with people. So that's what I've got to say about the bio. Again, I know that a lot of this is very generic, but obviously it does become very specific to the person, what they're trying to do. If you're a teacher also, then that is a completely different type of bio. If you're a teacher that teaches online, that is a very different bio. For instance, your location, maybe not as relevant. However, I will say, if you are, let's say, a drummer that is in London, who is teaching, being in London is a bit of a kudos point, I think. And it's not about teaching from London, but it's about being in the London scene, having that experience to be able to pass on to your students. There is something about that. I don't know what it is, but it is something, definitely. So there's that. Let's go on to, so that's kind of the bio situation sorted, and just thinking about the very first thing that people see. But let's talk about posting and stories. Now, I've done loads of episodes on what to post and all that sort of stuff, so I'll try to keep it fairly brief. But the way that I see, especially Instagram, again, I'm going to be talking mainly in those terms. The way that I see Instagram is that your posts, as in your feed, is kind of like your rolling CV, your rolling EPK. So on your feed should be I hate that word, could be the higher quality, higher production value videos, photos. If you're playing big gigs, show those on there to basically present yourself to the world. This is who I am, this is what I do. I have seen so many profiles that, again, I think people just don't know what to post, so they think that posting anything is better than posting nothing, which I would disagree with. But, they post funny photos that they've taken on tour, and sometimes those photos are very inappropriate, and it actually looks like they're just on holiday, for instance. And it kind of reflects maybe that although they know that they're posting from their tour, it could look like they're on holiday, therefore it's like, well, they're not that they're not that serious about what they do. There needs to be an element of professionalism if you're going to look into using your social media as a platform for marketing yourself. You just have to see it through those eyes. It's just how it goes. So what I'd say is, sort of like higher production value things, so nicely shot videos. You can shoot them yourself. I have plenty of video that I've shot myself, but I know that it sort of looks half decent. I'll often put different audio over it though, because the audio can be a bit shocking. But any sort of professionally videoed stuff, professional audio things, professionally released music, I would sometimes re-film myself recording it with a bit more of a performance onus maybe, and then use the actual release song, all that sort of stuff. So again, I'm going to only touch upon this because I feel like I can really go down rabbit holes, and this is going to be a very long episode as it is. I'm only on point 2 of about 7, so interesting. So then we come on to stories. Stories for me are more of a place for more, because they disappear after 24 hours, so you can make this content a little more raggedy, a little more honest, and I personally think stories is such a fantastic place to connect with people, because you can be human, and whether it's talking to camera, which I think is a really great way to connect with people, whether it is saying, oh look, I'm backstage at this place, la 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 la, what I will say is, and again I see this very often, when it comes to stories, please, I beg you, put text on your stories saying what it is, because even if you're sharing someone else's post, there's no context for that. And it might be in fact, so I had someone do this recently where they posted a video of what they knew to be them playing on a gig in a big venue, But I said to them, okay, this is great, but because you've put no context on it, it looks like you're the one that videoed that and you are just seeing a big gig somewhere. I had no idea that was you playing, because I can't actually see you. They were a drummer, so cymbal face, standard issue cymbal face. And they were like, oh my God, I just didn't even realise. I'm like, yeah, literally just put great playing with at, obviously tag the person, and then the artist or whatever, and then the venue, tag the venue, why not? If it gets you another reshare, why not? It's worth it, just getting your name out there a bit more, get a few more eyeballs, a bit more interest. It's always worth it. But I think being very explicit about what it is that you're posting, although it seems silly, if it's a backstage shot, backstage at, and then tag the venue, with, and tag the artist, all these things, and just doing it consistently really, really helps with staying top of mind with people that might want to hire you, might be looking at your profile that day, and then they say, oh my gosh, they're out and about touring, they are working all of the time, this is great. We want someone that's experienced, we want someone that's busy. Everyone loves a busy person, everybody does. I don't care what you say, it's true. So I think being very purposeful with text on stories is very, very important. Another thing that I think is very important, again, I'm just citing all the different people that I'm working with currently. So I have another person that I work with who their captions on their posts, because this is another thing. What do we write on our posts? We know about hashtags. I have to write lots of hashtags. Well, maybe I go for 4 or 5. I think that's a good way to kind of utilize it and not overdo it, because a lot of hashtags can be a bit spammy looking. It's fine. It's not the end of the world, but When it comes to captions, how you pitch yourself in those captions is also very important. I find that being very concise is good, and being very direct, and the tone that you take is very important in terms of what you focus on for that caption. So, for instance, if it's a shot of a gig, you at a gig, great shot, whatever, it's just like, love this shot from tag the photographer, and playing with tag the artist, so much fun, whatever, something very, very simple. You, again, tag the do a hashtag of where you were in the world, tag the venue if that's appropriate, like just do that, that's fine. But here's an interesting thing. So I had a student who was actually talking about the techniques that they were using when they were playing, like they were almost analyzing the song and they're playing within the context. It was just like, oh yeah, playing this like Texas Shuffle or whatever, and I said to them, I said, look, that's fine, but by doing that you're kind of talking to another drummer, which to me signals that you are in teacher mode, and this person has many different hats that they wear. So I said, that's fine as long as you're doing it intentionally. And they're like, I'm absolutely not doing that intentionally. That is actually the opposite of what I was going for. And I was like, that's fine. So just being aware of the language that you use in terms of, again, who you're presenting this to, because if I'm someone who's looking for a drum teacher, I am interested in what makes this a great Texas Shuffle that they're playing, for instance. Okay, cool, let me watch that because I want to understand. Fine, but that's me as a drum student. If I'm someone that is looking to hire someone, I'd be like, why are they talking about a Texas Shuffle? Like, I want to hear the grit. I want to know, like, who is this that you're playing with? Where are you playing? What is this? What's this gig? Like, so you're busy? What are you doing? So there's very different onus, like I say. So I think just being aware of that and being very purposeful of that. Also, and I struggle with this, over explaining. In fact, generally in life, I was going to say in captions, no, in life, as you can tell, every one of these episodes is 30 minutes or more. This one's going to be longer, I can already tell you that, and it's because I do over explain. It's part of who I am. But when it comes to doing these sort of professional posts, I try to put the bare minimum, as in the most concise sort of like information into a caption, because people ain't got the time to be working out what you're trying to say. Just be very direct, as short as possible, and then just go with that. Like, people just want to know, what is this that I'm looking at? Like, I love this. What is this that I'm watching? I think it's fantastic. What is it? Make me understand what this is. And that doesn't mean backstory. That doesn't mean, I don't know if you go onto recipe websites, but when they have like the whole backstory of why I love cooking this and my grandma used to make it, and it's lovely. Like, I love the sentiment of my grandma used to make this, and then now I make it, and I make it for my kids, and I love that. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. But is it the recipe? No. And why am I here for the recipe? So please, can we just jump to recipe? Thank you very much. And it's the same. It's the same with captions. People don't want to be like looking too hard for what this is. Just tell me. I really, really want to know. So that's sort of what I'd say about posts and stories. Little side note as well with stories, there are highlights as well. You can make sort of like collections of stories that you've posted. These I find are very useful just to collate the different things that you've been doing. And what I would say is, don't make them gig specific, unless it's like a named artist. And I know it's gross, it's horrible, but it is how it is. If you are playing with an artist that is well known, have a highlight that is just gigs with them, and that's all the stories, and you put them in that highlight, fine. But if not, I would have something like a live highlight reel that just has all of your live work, like the stories that you've posted, and just, keep adding to that as you go through your tours. If you're doing studio work, same thing. Have a studio one, and again, just have like all the releases that have been released, share stuff from Spotify on your stories, add that to your highlight. If you are teaching, have like student wins is a great one, or reviews, stuff like that. I think that is a fantastic thing too. I've just thought, actually, I need to have a student wins one on mine. Yeah, I've been, always learning. Also, In fact, I'll come to this in a second. So yes, I would say highlights, very useful. Not essential, but very useful, just to kind of like, again, present to people, this is how busy I am. Because if you think about the live highlights, for instance, at the very top left side, I think, it tells you how long ago the story was originally posted. And if you can have a maximum of 100 per highlight reel. If you have 100 stories up there and they're going back like, I don't know, let's say 52 weeks, so a year ago, to see that there have been 100 stories about that tells me that you're busy. It just signals busy person, excellent, they're touring a lot, this is fantastic. They're not going to go through all 100 highlights, unlikely. Stories, unlikely, but it's a signal. It's just a signal to say, yeah, this person is just this is just what they do. Because that's what you want. You want someone to go, oh, this is just what they do day to day. This is their life. The other thing that I'd say is, so that's kind of the highlights side of stuff covered. Generally for content as well, I generally focus on video because I find that is more impactful when it comes to profiles versus pictures. Pictures can be cool. If you get some good dynamic pictures, they can be good. But as in of you performing, but generally speaking, video is always going to translate better for various reasons. So look into creating more video maybe. Again, I've done so many different episodes on this, so I'd say look up my various social media posting situations. Look up about performance. It's a huge subject on its own. So I'd say maybe prioritize video over photos. Speaking of photos and videos, another thing that you can do just to make your profile look a little more serious, a little more professional, a little more purposeful, I think is the right word, is creating cover photos for your videos. And again, this can be just something, to bring a cohesiveness to the look of your profile, which again, it sounds very superficial, it sounds very like, is this important? It is and it isn't. I think that having a more cohesive looking, professional looking profile, although like having cover photos and let's say a color scheme, it's not going to change the fact if you're going to get a gig or not, but it does put a certain, let's say, filter over someone's eyes when they're looking at your profile to go, oh, this person's serious about what they're doing, like they're not playing around, and it just looks pleasing, it looks inviting, it makes someone just have an extra element of, oh, interesting, let me look further. That's all you want. You want people, you just want eyeballs. And if I go to a profile and it's a mess, I'm like, oh God, it's a friction point. We don't want friction points. We want people to be literally like, yes, show me, I want to see. So cover photos is a good way of doing that. Similar to the stories side of things, I would say if you can add some sort of readable text when someone's looking at your profile from afar that kind of explains what it is that they're about to watch, that is very, very useful. So I would definitely like just choose a couple of colors, create some cover photos in Canva, it's free, and create some sort of like consistency in the image of your profile. And again, if you want to look at mine as an example, it ain't perfect. Jeez, is it not perfect? But it does what it needs to do for now. It's a constant sort of like process. I was going to say progress and process. If you go to Hamley drums. So yeah, that's cover photos. Another thing that I would also say, I promise you, I'm almost coming up to the end of this episode, I swear, is utilizing pinned posts. Now again, this is Instagram specific. Oh no, it's not. You can do it on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you can do it on TikTok, where you can, in fact, I know you can do it on TikTok. You can pin three posts to your Instagram profile. And I find that this is a great way to introduce yourself properly to people. And I don't mean like physically, hi, I'm Emily, like I do at the beginning of this episode, every episode, sorry. But more like, how do you want to present yourself to every person that comes to your profile? Because again, I always come back to this, like think about how you yourself navigate Instagram, say. So when I get a profile that I'm like, oh, or a person reach out, wait, let me look at their profile. The first thing that I will do and I hope for this actually, because it makes my life so much easier. And again, that's what this is all about. We want to make everyone's life easier. is I want them to have a pinned post that tells me, who are you? What are you doing? What do you want to be doing? Like, just tell me who you are, basically. And the best way that I found when it comes to, if you're looking to be a session musician, whether that's touring, recording, or various other things, a type of show reel is so useful. So just a collection of different videos of you playing, maybe a couple of photos here and there, just literally show me who you are. And what I will say is, with things like that, just create a show reel that has some sort of continuity. So maybe don't use the audio from the gigs, because often it's shoddy, let's face it. Record something or create something over the top that sounds half decent, hopefully, that you can then put the images to, that you can put the video to. Make it dynamic, make it, depending on the type of performer that you are, make them quick cuts, make it interesting, all that sort of stuff. Just show people who you are, introduce yourself, basically. And I think that is such a great use of a pinned post. Now, obviously you can have up to 3. Just focus on having 1 for now. You can decide what those other ones are going to be if you choose to use them. I currently do. Obviously, I have a very different aim with my Instagram right now. It is to get more coaching clients. So mine is more about introducing myself, who I am, my experience that I have. And then it's about like just talking about the coaching and all that sort of stuff. I'll be completely honest, I can't remember what my pinned posts are. I think one of them is about this podcast, I'm pretty certain. So yeah, but that makes sense to me, because this podcast it all kind of links in together with coaching and helping other people and blah, 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 blah. So that's my profile. But again, if you want to go check out other people's. In fact, you can see my students. They've all got pinned posts, or they are currently working on pinned posts and show reels, just to kind of like present themselves to the world, introduce themselves to the world. Because if you meet someone in the real world, and I don't know about you, but as soon as I meet someone, I look them up. If I get on with them, I'm like, I'm going to connect with this person. And if I go to their profile, their Instagram, and they've got this pinned post and it's them and they're nailing it and they're showing me exactly what I knew them to be by talking to them, I'm like, I'm following you, I'm booking you on gigs. Like, come on, like, what are we doing? Let's go. That's what I want for you. I want to make sure that your profile is ready for when you do get those eyeballs. It needs to have a sense of professionalism. And do you know, it's not even about that, it's purposefulness. It needs to be purposeful. And if you can do that, it just signals to people, yes, this person is a safe pair of hands. Because as I often say, at the end of the day, to a point, there are thousands upon thousands of people that can do gigs. But there are so many other elements that come into play that can be shown on your social media, how you conduct yourself. In fact, it's just reminded me, this is kind of a real random aside. And I'm not going to mention who this person is, not because I don't absolutely adore them, because I really do, but I feel like it will feel a bit name droppy, and I don't want to do that. But I remember meeting this drummer after a gig. They're one of my favourite people on this planet. They're so fantastic. And I remember I sat down with him and he was like, right, show me your, I think it was Twitter at the time. It was a long time ago. And he was like, show me your Twitter. I was like, why? He said, I want to see what type of person you are. I really like us chatting. You seem really cool. Show me your Twitter. And I was like, all right, fine. So I showed him. He was like, scrolling through. He's like, okay. You're a good person. All right, fine. And I was like, what? What was that? He was like, well, some people, you scroll and then you're like, oh my God, this guy or girl or whatever is an absolute train wreck or like a liability or whatever. He goes, no, I like what you're, like, you seem really cool. And I was like, okay. So it was weird, but it was a lesson in like, yeah, that is what happens. People don't usually do it right in front of you, but it's a thing. It is a thing. And I think just being mindful of that. And again, just think about how you deal with people. It's really important. But speaking of things like that, the last thing that I will say in terms of like maximizing your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, whatever, is then actively getting eyeballs on it, and that is through just connecting with people. And that, for me personally, a good way of doing it is using hashtags, looking at posts that have been posted recently with hashtags that are in line with what you're after, the kind of people that you want looking at your profile, so that then you can start interacting with them, comment on their posts, and not just random emojis, like literally meaningful comments and just be like, hey, really love, I don't know, that piece of gear you're using, or love that groove, oh my gosh, you sound great, so in the pocket, blah blah blah, blah. That looks like an amazing gig, da 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 da, whatever it is, something of meaningful, so that it increases your chance of them maybe going, oh, who's this person, looking at your profile, which is maxed out, and then, you know, you start a friendship, because at the end of the day, that's what this industry is. It's relationships, and whether that is recording, whether that is touring, whether that is teaching, literally it's all relationships. Life is relationships, that's it. And so if you can maximize that moment that they come to look at your profile, to create that relationship, to create intrigue, to, you know, strengthen the bond of like, oh, you've posted something that I really like, and blah, 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 back and forth. And it ain't going to be a quick conversation of, hey, this is great, do you want a gig? That's not how it works. It takes time. So there's an element of patience, which is very annoying. And I am not one that has great patience. So I really feel you on that if you're feeling frustrated. But if you just consistently show up, it really, really makes a difference. But anyway, I hope that this very long and winding episode has helped you in some way. 35 minutes, not too bad. Not as long as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like an hour, so but yes, anyway, I hope that this has helped in some way. Please do just sort of like keep re-listening to this if there are elements here that have sparked for you. I find that if I listen to something or read something and I'm instantly like defensive about it, it often means I've been trying to avoid it. So if there's something that I've spoken about, you're like, absolutely not, that's ridiculous, have a think about it. Just have a think about it. And the only reason that I say that is that, yes, this is my experience, but it's also my experience with multiple students. Multiple students. Many times multiples of students who, when they finally kind of start looking at the thing they've been trying to avoid and doing all the things around it to try and avoid doing that one thing, once they face that, things start to change. I have it in my life too, we all do, and it isn't necessarily music related. Things that we're avoiding, they're the things that actually need to happen, and there's no amount of circumventing it that is going to make it disappear. There are things that just need to be dealt with. So if there is something that you heard that you were like, oh, rubbish, absolute rubbish, I would really implore you to just take a look at that and see how you feel about it a little further, or why you feel about it, or just do a test, try it and see. You can blame me if it all goes wrong. It won't, I promise. Excuse me. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, please do feel free to like, share and subscribe. If you would like to support this podcast and show your support of this podcast, you can over on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Emily Drums, I'm about to have a coughing fit, which is very strange. If you would like to book in for a discovery call with me, which is where we jump on the line for like 30 minutes, see where you're at, see where you want to be professionally, and I can see how I can help you in that moment, just kind of things that come to my brain. And then if you want to look at like actually working together on a more long-term basis, doing some coaching, you can. You just need to go to emilydrums.com. And if you'd like to suggest a subject for this episode, then if you'd like to suggest a subject, or if you have a question that you'd like me to answer on a future episode, then you can go to emilydrums.com/AMA. And finally, I've said it 5 billion times in this episode, feels like, but if you would like to connect with me over on Instagram, you can go to @HeyEmilyDrums. Anyway, I hope you're well, hope you're keeping well, wherever you are, whatever you're up to, and I will look forward to seeing you next time for another subject. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.